News from the table in the rolling waves. Dice in our hand, we're the dungeon's brave. Adventures tonight with our mighty team. Heroes we've become, living out the dream. Roll the dice, feel the thrill. Monsters we will overthrow. Questing with friends in the RPG show.
Good morning and welcome. It's 8 o'clock on the dot on this, the 9th day of September 2024. It's about 74 degrees and hazy. How are you this Monday morning? We're one day closer to Halloween. Yes, it's Monday. It's time to look at all the tabletop role-playing game freebies, sales, and wait for it, bundles. And no, that is not Grim Jim that we're looking at. That is our first freebie of the day, and it comes from our friends over at White Wolf. It is a new expansion for Scion. It's the Scion Pride 2024 collection, where it celebrates the LGBT community with LGBTQT associated stuff. Yeah. The royalties go to support LGBTQT charities, so that's good. We've got a couple of good adventures for the OSR. We got a lot of Shadow Dark stuff, and of course, we got the first beginnings of spookiness. So we've got a sample dungeon from Nova Ludus. This is for pretty much any classic D20 type retro clone, OSR, OGL, OSE, whatever you want to call it. If you're looking for something to explore more old school, this one takes its inspiration, inspiration for that weird map in the Dungeon and AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide. You know how you go through the AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide and there's just this map? I think that's the Temple of Moloch, and it's the map where you find the statue on the cover, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not 100% sure. But anyways, so this person has decided to update it and reimagine the Temple of Moloch, which is what I think it was called. Next, we have some love for Shadow Dark. This one comes from Hairbrained Homebrew. Hairbrained Homebrew, congratulations. You win the prize for best name for a company for this week. It's called Wicked Fleas. It's a third level adventure inspired by a classic story from the magazine Weird Tales featuring giant fleas as opposed to the usual giant ants. So I guess you could have like a little girl pointing at the hill and going, them. Brian, I think it's Brian, Brynjar, Branar, maybe. Mar Palson, Marpalsson, has got a Shadow Dark adventure for us called Voyage Aboard the Flying Leopard, where you are, I assume, on a flying ship of some kind of type, or maybe a boat that's named the Flying Wizard. It doesn't say. It just says you're trapped on some kind of ship, and then there's deaths on the ship. So it could be a flying boat, could be an airboat, could be a land boat. It's a boat. I suppose you could just convert it to any type of vehicle that your characters would be on for a long period of time, like a train or whatever. And then you know, murder on the Orient Express types happen. Who doesn't want to solve a murder? Corey Brookins released Temple of Emerald Death. It's a low-level adventure for Shadow Dark, where villagers of a seaside village are being kidnapped during low tide by water-dwelling civilizations seeking to replenish their numbers. But I don't know if they're deep ones, but they're pretty darn close. For Twilight 2000 players, Peter Randall Jensen has Ace of Diamonds, the village of Obadok, an expansion on the encounter from the referee's manual that turns a village into a potential haven for characters and a community they can join and protect. So I guess there was a reference manual adventure in Twilight 2000, and this one explores it. I have the reference manual. I should probably look it up. Here's our first spooky season. We've got a whole bunch of horror-themed one-shots from Unformed Worlds. This is called RPG Haunted by Night. They're all GM-less, paperless RPG inspired by horror movies and urban legends. Okay. Over at Storytellers Vault, Michael Vex has released Curriculum Vitae, a guide to obscure disciplines for Vampire the Masquerade, which adds multiple new additions to your Bloodsucker's abilities to do blood-sucking magic. Vampire magic. Lightning round, then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 new maps on DM's Guild for your adventure of choice. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 new subclasses for 5e and Shadow Dark, or just general D20. Oh, why would there be so many new subclasses added? Why are so many people putting stuff out right now to add new things to 5e when we know it's very, considering how close it is we are to finally seeing the SRD and knowing what we can and cannot print? It's like they're trying to fill the hole that's in the player's handbook of all the stuff that either got removed or ended up being nerfed or just people are unhappy with. I don't know about you, but I haven't seen a lot of positive reviews of the player's handbook yet. Sales, Drive-Thru has their September setting sale, which features a ton of different games, all marked down, all based around a specific setting or theme. They do this all the time on Drive-Thru. But they have like a theme or something, and they mark everything down that they can that fits within this theme. So the theme could be, giant insects, and then they'll find a bunch of adventures and stuff that fit that theme, and they'll mark them all down 50% for a week or whatever. So this week's theme is solo role-playing. And so they've got a bunch of things for a bunch of different role-playing games that are marked down that allow you to explore the solo RPG phenomenon. About 300 of them, 25% off this week only. Next week they'll do a different one. Danger Vault has some new love for Strange New Worlds. That's the battle map series that they're making for Star Trek related stuff. This is a whole bunch of new battle maps. I assume they're science fiction themed that you can use on Roll20. Some of them are even animated. I don't know if I'd want an animated map on Roll20. Roll20 is clunky as it is. Adding an animated map would just make it even more clunky. Is it really that big of a call for people who want animated maps on the VTT? Oh, look, the torch on the wall is flickering. Ooh, my immersion. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a grump. Dragonlance, if you're a fan of the classic Dragonlance adventures, the original ones, Dragon of Despair, etc., they have all been converted to the Comptometer, and they're available on the DM's Guild. And hopefully the funds will go to Margaret and Tracy and not Wizards of the Coast. Apparently in the new player's handbook, they mentioned something that led people to believe Wizards is going to revisit Dragonlance again. And Dark Sun, even though Wizards has told us hundreds of times they would never revisit Dark Sun because it's just too problematic. But Dragonlance, I don't know where the legal standing is now, who owns what percentage, because I know Margaret and Tracy are still making stuff for Dragonlance that has nothing to do with Wizards. Now, as regards to the people who got all excited when they read that, oh my God, Wizards is releasing a brand new Dragonlance or revisiting it. It's like, dude, they just did Dragonlance. They just did. How is it you guys have such a short memory span? The Wizards of the Coast memory span problem is now slowly spreading to YouTubers. Maybe the virus was on the player's handbook. So anybody who got a player's handbook at Gen Con or picked it up pre-ordered or had one sent to them to review, this weird memory lapse virus spreads that way. Could this be the new zombie apocalypse? Instead of a zombie apocalypse, it's just a memory lapse apocalypse where tabletop role-playing game reviewers literally do not remember product that appeared, weeks before. because these guys are all like, oh my God, it's the first time we've seen Dragonlance in so long. They're revisiting Dragonlance. This is exciting. You're like, no, they just did Dragonlance. You guys not remember? They did the Dragonlance book, and they did Dragonlance map, and they tried to do that Dragonlance miniature game. Yeah? No? Okay, well, it happened. But anyways, I don't know, because I don't know what Margaret and Tracy thing. But cycling back to the original point, for $30, you can get all the classic Dragonlance modules on PDFs. And finally, this week's charity bundles. As always with the charity bundles, if there's a charity out there you want to give to, but you don't want to deal with the wherewithal of 100 versions of weird games that you're never going to play, you can always just go to the GoFundMes and donate to the charity directly. We've got the Rainbow Violence Prevention Network has got their Hot Mutant Summer bundle available, featuring 25 different products, all inspired by Fallout and nuclear war and radiation and mutations. Sure, why not? Marjorie Baker is dealing with a cancer diagnosis. Lumply Games has put together a bundle to help raise funds for Marjorie's cancer stuff. That stuff is expensive. Insurance doesn't cover a lot of it, depending upon what state you live in. Cancer and fighting cancer and just having to do all this, it's very expensive. It can drain you emotionally, it can drain you physically, it can drain you financially. And when you're dealing with all the other things that cancer does, you can just and have to deal with bills. So here's some people who are doing a very nice thing to help collect money so Marjorie Baker can get her cancer treatment, their cancer treatment, his cancer treatment. I don't know who is Marjorie Baker. I think is a girl, but I don't know. Could be wrong. Could be a boy. Could be a fish. Bundle of Holding has a Dungeon Crawl Classics bundle. This one is the Jack Vance Dying Earth. This is the 4th week in a row this one's got on. It's got everything that Dungeon Crawl Classic has ever made for the Jack Vance Dying Earth DCC run. This is different than the other Jack Vance RPG because there's at least 2, possibly 3 RPGs out there that all claim they are the definitive conversion of all Jack Vance's books to D&D or D20. So this is $18. It goes to support food banks. We've got the Renegade Transformers More Than Meets the Eye bundle. This has got everything that Renegade has released so far for the Transformers role-playing game and a couple other individual independent things. It's $40 for everything, including some dice that they'll send you, or $18 if you don't want the dice. Because why spend $18 to $40? It's $20 difference basically for them to ship dice to you. For $9, you can go get dice. So this goes to support world builders. And we've got the Modifius First Edition Star Trek Adventure Collection. All the 2D20 Star Trek stuff that Modifius has made, including the animated series and Lower Deck. $25 goes to Girls Who Go Code. That's a charity that helps young women or individuals who identify as female learn how to do comptometer stuff so they can get better at it. We've got the Lost Worlds of Gygax bundle. This is the one from Troll Lord Games, not having anything to do with the stuff that Troll Lords is doing with the new Gygax stuff and their Castles and Crusades Gygax stuff, or with anybody else who's claiming to have rights to the Gygax stuff. So yeah, this is a Frog God Games, Necromancer Games. Goes to support the Navy Marine Corps Relief Society. $25 gets you everything that they have that is Gary Gygax has made that is not owned by Wizards of the Coast. Then we've got the book bundle. These are a bunch of different books that have been converted to PDF. You need to have an account with a app called Kobo in order to be able to download these books. They are DRM for e-readers books. There's a book for the writings of Patrick Ruffalus, his King Killer Chronicles. Those have all been converted for $5. We've got the Shannara series by Terry Brooks that's been converted down. I think that's $10. And we've got the Discword books, all 39 of them by Terry Pratchett. That's $18. You get all these PDFs. Remember, before you open any of these PDFs, please check them for viruses. Please. And that's the bundles for today. The links to everything I mentioned are down below. You can always check them out yourself by going to Ian World or just going to drive through directly, because they always list these. All I do is go and look at somebody else's list and read them off, because I'm too lazy to do it on my own. If you appreciate this content, let me know. If you never want to see me do this ever again, let me know. Till next time, I'm the OG GM. Have a great day. We will talk to you all later.